It's another original BW Sports One production. Pew pew! All right, everybody, welcome back here to Combat Zone with BW Sports One and Southern Indiana Combat Production. That's right, SICP2, the second coming up quick, March 4th, down in Evansville, Indiana, from the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And here today with the Lion at Combat Zone, we have the one, the only, Bobby Poulter. What is happening, brother? How we doing?
We're doing great today, man. We're doing great.
Good deal, good deal. So, not everybody may be too in tuned in the BW Sports One and SICP world who Bobby Poulter is in the combat sports realm. So, give us a little background on, your career so far.
All right. I had my first fight back in 2018. That way I went 4-0 as an amateur, collected a lightweight title along the way. After that, decided to make my way in the pro ranks, and here we are, coming off a win back in August. My last fight, won first round knockout. So I'm just hoping to recreate that same success here.
Nice, I love it. So he's liking the hands. You are going to be a little taller than your opponent in this one. He is coming in March 4th again, SICP2, the second coming down in Evansville. He'll be fighting Carlos Garnett. Not to give everything away, obviously, because we want to keep some of that game plan into privacy. But what do you think, or what are you expecting in this bout against Carlos?
Um, I'm expecting him to come out hot and heavy. He seems like a tough kid. He seems like a good boxer. So I'm expecting him to come hard and fast with the hands because I know he's gonna have to close that distance. But that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be the name of the game. I'm curious to see if he's gonna be able to do that.
Well, I think everybody's curious to see these things, man. That's why we're filling them seats up for you guys, so everybody can watch you guys showcase your talents in that cage. It is a brand new cage that we're bringing in for this fight
Wow.
event. So you guys are in the inaugural SICP cage this time around. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice. You talked 2018. You've been around for the past 5 years. You went through the COVID BS. How did that time kind of help you focus in your career going through that?
So the COVID time, the first year especially was tough because we couldn't find any fights in Canada. It was really tough. Like everything was locked down here. There's some states down south that were running shows, which was what we tried to basically get into, but it was very challenging for us to get across the border. So we were very limited with our options, and even to get across the border and down to fight, it was expensive. So we couldn't really get a lot of opportunities. Luckily, I did manage to have one fight. I signed out west. BC was the first promotion to run a show, so I managed to get there and get one fight during COVID. But that throughout that time we weren't fighting, but my team and I were always training. So, we just had some extra time to develop our skills, to kind of just build our team back up, and then it gave us extra time to heal ourselves, and now it's everyone seems to be going on a run.
Now you mentioned it that COVID in Canada. I mean, the shutdowns, especially for gyms, facilities, and stuff like that, was horrendous. You
Yeah.
know, going through that, like you said, kind of growing your team back up. Were there certain things that you kind of tweaked in training as far as well, we can't get into here, so let's go to the woods or something. What changes were made during that time for you guys to to get training in?
it so that was the hardest part, was finding a place to train. And the gym that I was originally training at, Parabellum MMA, we had a huge team, probably the biggest in Ontario, easily. And they had to close down because of it. Uh, we weren't allowed to train, so me and a training partner opened up a small gym, like a 600 square foot little janitor's closet. But we had everything we needed. We had mats, we had our team, we had like 12 guys in a 600 square foot where it was only half mats, and we were doing our fight camps out of there. And it was pretty seclusive, so we were able to still train throughout the entirety, even during there was an emergency order where everyone was supposed to stay at home. We were still out training every single day. So
Good.
we made it work. I did several fight camps out of that out of that janitor's closet. And we did what we had to do to get the reps in, and so we really lost nothing throughout that
Good,
time.
good. Now, going from what you had to what you were forced to work with, I mean, mentally as a fighter, a lot of people, obviously see the physicality side of things inside the cage, but don't know a lot or don't see it with their own eyes, the mental aspect and the mental game that plays into this. Going through that, I mean, what was your mentality like? Obviously, not to say, you guys broke down and all that, and nothing negative, but I'm sure it did play somewhat of a toll at first, and then kind of getting through all that, bullshit that everybody had to deal with.
Oh, for sure, man. And it was tough because we had to travel more to train. Like we didn't have our gym in our backyard anymore. Like I was driving down to Niagara, which is, you probably wouldn't know the area, but it's, I'm driving an hour a day to go to training sometimes just to find training partners, which was, that was the hardest part. So it's not quite as simple as it was. I think that the only difference was we had to work harder to get the training sessions that we needed. That was really the only difference. So, mentally it was more challenging. You had to work more to be able to afford to travel more, to be able to train more. But at the end of the day, we were still competing and we were still doing what we love. So that was really all that mattered.
Now, do you think that going through that grew your mental game, grew your team's kind of mentality, and not just the physical aspect of the training, but through all that, did you guys become tighter? Did you guys become more equipped in knowledge and mental aspect of things, or kind of give me a little of what you brought out of that time?
So we were going through some coaching changes as well at that time. So, there was a lot of change happening. And throughout that change, it's only going to spark growth. So we were forced to go to different places. We were forced to train with different people. We were forced to try to train in secret. It was challenging, and also being able to not compete as regularly as we would like. That was probably the hardest one for most of the athletes I surrounded myself with as well. We train all the time. We want to compete. We want to test ourselves. And some of us went 1, 2, 2.5 years without fighting, but I think that mentally that makes a fighter more hungry. And I realized with that time off, like we always had access to competition.
Mhm.
And throughout that time we didn't. And so you would just get hungry and hungry and you training all the time. You're like, I want to test myself. So it just kind of brought that fire back to it until I know some of the guys as well on my team, which just, I think that mentally was probably a benefit for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. To anybody to grow from that type of environment, and going through that adversity and coming out on it on top of things, getting ready for bigger and better things is always a positive, and I love hearing it, Bobby. Love seeing you guys being able to pull out of that. Now, what are the differences, if any, between fighting in your home area of Canada to coming down here to the States and fighting in, let's say Evansville, Indiana, per se?
It honestly not too much. Other than we got to do a little road trip, right? Right, as a weight cut, that makes it a little bit less ideal, but nothing changes. Nothing changes at all. It's obviously so amazing to fight in front of your hometown. I've done it. I've also traveled and fought. I fought in the States in amateur as well, so I know what it's like to travel and cut weight and fight. Certainly, it's nice to have the hometown advantage, but it's also going to be fun to go in there. And I know this Carlos Garnett guy's a local guy, so it'll be fun to storm the castle, and let's see what he's how willing he is to fight in front of his home. That's a lot of pressure for somebody.
That is, it sure can be. And you kind of moved right into my next question. How does it feel coming into Carlos's backyard to kind of dethrone and in your side obviously is wanting to dethrone that hometown guy.
Of course, man. It's like an added challenge, but like it's exciting. It makes you realize you're going to be going into the unknown territory. There's probably going to be people booing me. There's going to be people yelling. Everyone in that building wants me to lose. And that's such an interesting feeling. It's crazy. I felt it before. I fought hometown guys out in BC and they don't like us. So it's a different energy, but it's also exhilarating. And so I'm excited just to get in there and see if that pressure can break him, or if that pressure is going to build up and just fireworks happen.
Well, as a fan of the sport. I want to see some fireworks happen, brother. I want to see you guys toe to toe bang it out for the whole time. And it's the camaraderie thing, man. I came from the amateur side of things and never made it pro, which is fine because my knee sucks and I'm not getting kicked in it anymore. Perfectly okay with it. Just getting in there and having fun with some of the same like-minded people as yourself. It's always a good time. So before we go any further, we're going to put you into what we call here at the combat zone called rapid knockout. It's 3 questions, has absolutely nothing to do with the fight game. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1, favorite food?
Um, favorite food. Peanut butter and jam sandwiches. Peanut butter and jam sandwiches, man, all the way.
Ooh. Okay, so 2 questions on that. Are we a creamy or are we peanutty kind of peanut butter?
Ooh, I mean, I like creamy, but I still eat the organic stuff.
Okay. Okay. And now you say jam. What's your favorite type of jam to put on that?
So I love on a strawberry jam. I know everyone loves raspberry or strawberry, but I'm a strawberry dude. It's so good.
I'm right
It's
there
what
with
I crave after weight cuts. That's like the only thing that I want to eat. I'll eat 5 sandwiches.
So
with
what you're telling us is we need to make sure that we have some PB&Js lined up
food.
right after the weigh-ins, huh?
I will be ecstatic. You'll find me back in Southern Indiana faster than you think if you do that.
Well, it's fortunately and unfortunately for you, it's not PB&Js, but we have some of the best food catered in for you guys after weigh-ins. It's Mission
Wow.
Barbecue. If you don't know about it, you're going to find out, and it's absolutely amazing. So you won't go wrong with Mission Barbecue, I promise, and you'll like
Yeah.
it.
Hey, I'm excited for an Indiana barbecue. I've heard such good things.
Oh, right on, right on. All right, question number 3. I'm sorry, question number 2. I'm getting ahead of myself now. Question number 2, two-part answer possibly, could be the same. Whether it's getting ready for a fight, going through training camp, getting ready to walk out there into the cage, or whether it's, you're just driving down the road on a Sunday afternoon. What is in Bobby Poulter's playlist that you're listening to?
Oh man, you go through my playlist, it's just a mixed bag of everything you could imagine. It depends on the mood, before my training I like to bump some rap, some hip hop, but in the summer I'm playing country all day long.
All
So
right.
that's what you're going to find mostly between those two genres.
All right. Who's your top 3? Like overall, in the rap and country, who's your top 3 people?
For country, Morgan Wallen for sure.
Okay.
Uh, for rap, that's a tough one, man.
Are we old school or new school?
So I like a little bit of both. I love listening to Nas. Nas always gets me hyped up, Nas and Biggie. But if I'm trying to think of more like new school, I gotta rep the six, and I love Drake. Always, he's
Okay.
always putting out bangers.
All right. I like your first 2. I'm a little older. I like that old school stuff, but hey, I can deal with Drake. So
Gotta have it all, man. You can't just have one or the other.
that's right. That's right. A plethora of knowledge going through your earwaves. All
Exactly.
right. Now we're to question number 3. Here's the toughest. Whether it be on the personal side or your sports entertainment side, whatever you'd like. Growing up, biggest role model.
Cool. Okay. My biggest role model growing up, that'd be a tough one because it was probably my brother. Honestly, my brother, my whole family is athletes, but my older brother was always coaching every single one of my sports. Um, so when I was growing up, he's a competitive bodybuilder, so he was like just all I saw the prep that he worked, and honestly, I think that's rubbed off on me in this sport. I see how hard he worked for stuff, and that's kind of that's probably where I would have to definitely lay my number one role model if I had to choose.
All right. Love looking up to family, man. That's
Yeah.
always good. All right, before you get out of here, it's your chance. Friends, family, haters, lovers, supporters, sponsors, anything you got, the floor is yours, brother.
Honestly, I got a small team up here, but we're coming down to take over. So everyone just tune in. And I got not a lot to say. I want to let the fight do the talking.
I love that, Bobby. Thank you again for your time. Bobby Poulter, everybody. Check him out. That's right. Coming in hot. March 4th, Southern Indiana Combat Production, SICP 2, the second coming Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Evansville, Indiana. Bobby, I can't wait to meet you in person. This is going to be, our second show, our second event, and we are bringing the fireworks. Like you said, the fans are going to love you. The families around there may boo you at first, but win or lose, they're going to give you that respect that you deserve. I feel it. I know it's going to be a great show. Again, brother, thank you for your time. And until next time, everybody, we're out. Peace.